welcome back to HunterTuned. Just got this car all finished up. In the last video you guys saw this little single cam make some pretty decent power for a completely stock Z6, and I'm just coming out here the next day and making sure the cold start and everything is good for the guy before he picks it up, and I just breathed on the key and this thing fired right up to life. Idling good. Yeah, this one's all done, so we're moving on to the next one in the shop, which is this little EG hatch. Pray for the manifold. So if you guys saw in the last video, I talked about this car and how it was pretty much ready to go for the dyno minus the fuel system. So this guy thought that he could make like 300 horsepower on the stock fuel system, and that's just simply not the case. Even on pump gas, the stock injectors will run out around like a little over 200 horsepower typically. The stock injectors will run out of fuel. Some guys will push them a little farther than that, but it's a good idea to upgrade the fuel system if you're going to be putting more power to your B series or K series or D series, any of these motors. When you add more air, you need to add more fuel. So we are going to swap out the stock injectors for a set of HunterTuned 1000s, and we're also going to be swapping the fuel pump in the car to a HunterTuned 450. So I recently started selling these fuel pumps. They're a Wally 450, just with my logo on them. And yeah, we're gonna get this installed into the car. Here's the install kit. Comes with the new sock, a couple clamps, the hose, and some wiring connectors. And then the injectors here are just the, you know, new HunterTuned 1000s I'm selling with the custom top hats. This will adapt the injector to the B series rail. These are the locking clips to hold the hat onto the injector so we don't get no fuel leaks. And then these are the wiring adapters to go to the OBD1 Honda. Sometimes on these OBD1 clips you actually have to shave out this little center tab. If you guys are kind of OGs to the Honda game, you know that we all had to do this on the old DSM 450s and stuff like that. Some of the EV1 style connectors are slightly different, whether they have that little tab or they don't. So if you can't get the adapters to plug in, just shave down that little center nub. I'll show you that here in a second, but we're going to get right to the fuel pump right away. So we just have to open the door. There we go. And the fuel pump is right under that cover. So this guy has some Dyno mat, it looks like, in this thing, sound deadening. But hopefully we'll still be able to get the fuel pump hat off. And then there's just a couple bolts and we'll pull the housing out. And we'll get to installing this fuel pump. I'm going to be getting on some of these projects. I know a lot of guys are asking where the single cam content is, where the Del Sol content is. It's all coming really soon. You guys just have to bear with me. I've been super busy filling orders and doing some stuff with the website. If you guys didn't see, I have a ton of new products on the site, a bunch of AN line and hoses now. You guys can build your own fuel system if you want. Along with the fuel rails. I also got the catch cans now available. So I'm now selling 4-port baffled oil catch cans. You guys can set up, especially if you're doing a battery relocate. They just go where the battery is, and they have 4 ports. It's a baffled can with 2 filters. And I'll be doing a video coming soon with Jack Spania. We're gonna be putting that catch can in, and can't wait to show you guys that. There's just so much stuff coming. I keep saying this, and like I always get like too busy to like do my own cars. But with the shop and moving shops and stuff like that, I should have more time away from customer cars for a little bit, where we can actually focus on the single cam build that we're doing. I have another B series build that I'm doing, and doing some final touches on my K-swapped Integra. So if you guys are new here, consider hitting the subscribe button and liking this video. It greatly helps me out and it helps the channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, the Black Betty Mustang back there, I think we're gonna get deeper into the 8s in the quarter with that car this year, and I'm very excited for that. All right, so we just got the lid with the 4 Phillips screws off of this thing. Now we're going to take the main feed line off with a 17. We unplug the electrical connector, and then this return hose we are also going to take off. And then there's a couple 10mm bolts around the perimeter. This whole housing will pull out. We'll go put it on the bench and check it out. Alright, so I got the fuel pump assembly up on the bench, and I'm just unplugging the electrical connector that was plugged into the pump. And we got to remove the fuel hose, which goes up to the fuel feed fitting. Sorry. And yeah, I'm probably going to do another video separately on this, but I'm actually now selling bulkhead fittings where you would cut off where the banjo goes on the stock hanger, and you just put in a bulkhead fitting which converts your banjo to AN, and then you can just run that hose down to the pump. You just got to cut this off and then drill a hole through. So I'm probably going to do that on a couple of my builds coming up, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But for now, we're just going to take this guy out and put this guy in. No relay, no fancy wiring or nothing like that. This guy's not shooting for a ton of power, and the stock wiring should be totally fine. If he runs out of fuel system at a later date, then we can put a relay in it, but I don't think it's really going to be taxing on the fuel system that bad where we need to rewire it. And believe it or not, my Integra still has the stock wiring. I did not rewire that setup at all, and that car makes almost 600 horsepower, so just food for thought. Alright guys, so I just got the fuel pump hooked on, got it hooked up with the hose and the clamps, and then I just clamped it to the fuel pump hanger here. You can use a zip tie or a hose clamp, whatever you got laying around. And then I got the pigtail wired on with the supplied butt connectors. I'm gonna go throw this back in the car. Alright guys, so I just got the fuel pump all buttoned up. Let's give it a test. Make sure it's working. Oh yeah, she's whining away back there. Bam! Look at that. Cool. Now we can move on to doing the injectors. Alright guys, so I got the injectors with the top hats all ready to go. I greased up the O-ring before I put the top hat on. I'm going to grease up the top O-rings up here and the bottom. I'm just going to slather some grease all over the O-rings so we don't tear them when we install them. Just be careful when you put them in. Here is the factory injectors that were in the car, and if we compare the length of the injector, you can see that my injector is just slightly taller where it's going to seal right here into the lower grommet. So what we're doing is I just shimmed up the rail ever so slightly from where it was at with a washer on the stud. So that should give us the proper spacing we need, and yeah, we'll go from there. Get these installed. Alright, so these things just got installed into this little B18B, and they went in perfectly. You can see that the injector still spins side to side. It's not like crushing down on the injector, so it doesn't even spin, but it doesn't move up and down. You kind of have to play with the spacing sometimes when you install aftermarket injectors because of this. You don't want to crush the injector body because then the injector is not going to work. And if you have the spacing too loose, the injector could pop out and leak fuel. So sometimes I put the washers on the bottom of the injector, sometimes I put them on the bottom of the rail. Just got to play around with it. Sometimes different setups require different finesse. But these things look awesome. So now we're going to take his stock wiring harness here, and we're going to plug in the adapters. Because this is an OBD1 or EV1 Honda, and these injectors are an EV6 style connector, so these don't plug in. That's why we got to get the adapters. Might be kind of hard to see it on camera, but there is a little nub where my fingernail is right here in the center of these connectors. Sometimes you got to grind them out with a little razor blade or something like that. You could just take like a screwdriver and heat it up with a torch and just melt it out of there. Just got to get that tab out of there for these things to plug in, and then they will clip on the outside. There's two little tabs here where they secure themselves onto the sides with those stock clips that are on the factory injector clips. Sorry, kind of hard to tell on camera, but there's two little tabs on the outside where those clips will hook onto so it doesn't pop out. Got the injectors in with the Honda clips adapted to the HunterTuned injectors. Everything fit great. And I just got a base map loaded in it. This car, when I tuned it previously, I tuned it on Honda Tuning Suite. And I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the HunterTuned injectors and Honda Tuning Suite in specific. The data that I've been sending out with my flow sheets that we plug into the, Honda dead times and stuff like that. When you plug that same data into HTS, the cars don't run right. I don't know what it is with HTS specifically. I tuned another car with my injectors, my new injectors, and I had same issues that I've had a couple people emailing me about with the HunterTuned injectors on HTS specifically. So I will show you this map for the thousands that I have built and the dead times I'm using if you guys are having issues. So just let me know, but the HTS specifically just takes a little bit more finicking and finesse. If you guys remember watching my HTS like intro videos, I did talk about how like the injector scaling and stuff wasn't like actual. Like you could put this data into Honda and it works perfect. You put this data into HTS and it doesn't like it. So this is an example of the map I have on HTS with different data, which I'm probably going to have to like maybe include that if people are using HTS, but just know that you're going to have to finick with the dead times and stuff on HTS because I think there's just a software bug or glitch, but after all, it is a free software. Let's fire it up. So I don't have a wideband in it currently. This is just the base map I did on the eBay Turbo Civic. We did a few videos back, that EK sedan. And it's pretty close. It's idling pretty smooth. I don't have no fuel leaks. And yeah, idling pretty good. But once we get a wideband in it, not bad, honestly. But this map did take me a little bit of time to get working. Like I said, I don't know, there's just some bugs with it. I even did, I got frustrated on a car. I actually had a set of these injectors in with HTS and like it hated it. I switched the car over to Chrome. All the issues went away. I don't know. So I'm working through bugs with HTS. I've been trying to get a Neptune dealer license, but no matter what I do, I try to contact HR Tuning because Neptune is also a pretty stable like software when you're inputting stuff. Everything works really good. There's not a lot of bugs. And I've been trying to get a dealer license through HR Tuning so I can burn chips with Neptune instead of Chrome, because Chrome is limited. It works, but it's limited. HTS works awesome, but there is like bugs where I'm not comfortable with like injector stuff and like ignition cut and the rowdy two-step and stuff it has is really cool, but like I've hurt motors with the two-step and stuff from HTS. So like I'm trying to steer away from it slightly or figure out different strategies with it in order to keep my customer cars safe. But like I said, I've been trying to get a dealership license so you can burn chips with Neptune. You can only do that if you have like the dealer option of Neptune. And these guys just like, they won't get back to me. Like I try everything to contact them and talk to them and they just like, nope, you're a peasant. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of vibe I get. So it's pretty annoying, it's frustrating. I've tried literally over the last 10 years to get a Neptune dealer license and it just doesn't seem to be happening. So we might just try to stick with HTS and all that. I know Jason Waters, I talked to him quite a bit. He's a Neptune guy and he has great success with it. And I would love to just get a stable platform to work with that I can get configured for all these cars and not have to worry. So yeah, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna get the wideband installed into this car, and we're gonna get it over to the dyno. This one's gonna be probably leaving hopefully soon. So this one will get out of the shop and we can pull this one on. And then after that, we have a ton of stuff coming for my personal cars and the big move to the new shop. So like I said, guys, stay subscribed, or subscribe if you're new, like the video. God bless, have a great night and a better tomorrow. We'll see you later.